Yeah, I think I set it up. No, I'm just going to talk, and this video is about David Earl Worden yet again. There's so many topics I want to discuss about this. No, I don't support the man. No, I think enough people. We're all arguing. Sorry, I'm pissed. We're all arguing amongst ourselves what his actual name is. If you go on the Texas Registry of Sex Offenders, I think they have like 5 aliases on there now. Hello, good to see you. The issue, okay, let's start at the beginning. How I know David Earl Worden. I was a member, full-fledged, whatever, associate, whatever you want to call it, of Open Carry, Texas. One day I get a phone call from CJ Grisham saying that I have to call him David Earl Worden. He always said his name was David Worden because we're both in the Houston area, and CJ's like, "This, we got to get behind this man. We got to get affiliated with him." You know, he said, "Call him, and y'all work together in the Houston area." Because I was at the time was a big member of the Houston chapter. I called David Earl Worden on the phone. I still have his phone number. He doesn't have mine. I wonder why. But I called him, and I was on the phone with him the first time for a total of 4 minutes. And every time I had a question for him, I never got an answer. And I hung up the phone and called CJ back. And I said, CJ, there's huge issues with this man. I know we all have issues with the cops, and we're all in this fight for constitutional rights, or whatever you want to call it, for a reason. Probably because we're pissed off. But I told CJ Grisham, this guy is a madman. There is something not right about this guy. And I just got the creepy feeling, right? About a week later, we're at a protest in Houston, and David Earl Worden shows up with another guy. And a friend of mine, who we're still friends, comes walking over, and he says, "Do you know that man?" I said, "Yeah." He knows. I don't understand what's happening with Open Carry, Texas, but we're supposed to work with David Earl Worden. And he says, "No, not David Earl Worden." He says, "Do you know who the other man is? His friend." And it was just a chubby guy with a white shirt on. Don't blame me, dude. It was something wasn't right about this other guy. And my friend said, "Oh, he's a 3-time registered pedophile." And I said, "Really?" And he says, "Yeah, I'll get you all the information about it." So we started telling everybody, because the guy in the white shirt was being very boisterous, you know, wanting to get people riled up and shit. And David's urging him on and videotaping and everything. And I told our guys, let's just leave. Something's not right about this, you know. Let's all just leave. And sure as shit we did. We all left. The same friend that told me who he was, because he knew who he was, gave... being very worried, yeah. So the next day, the friend showed up to my house with this packet, and it was David Earl Worden and the other guy. I can't remember his name now. I've got the paperwork somewhere, but sure as shit, he was a 3-time pedophile. Earl, yeah. People, see, that's what I'm talking about. Nobody knows his fucking name. Earl, David Earl Worden, David Earl Worden with an A, David Earl Worden with an E. But this other guy... so I went through David Earl Worden's package, and then I went through the Texas Registry of Sex Offenders, and sure as shit, I found him. Actually, another friend of mine found him because I was doing David Earl Worden and not with an A, because he was using an A then, but it was Earl David Worden with an E. Was it Petty? Yeah. So I was like, why is it that this man is trying to hide who he is? And I called CJ back, and CJ's like, well, maybe we need to not use our real names, and maybe we need to cover our face, and maybe there needs to be secret identities and all this other shit. I said, CJ, there's something not right here. Now there's 2 pedophiles instead of just 1. I was like, and I couldn't grasp why these good, honorable men that would hunt down pedophiles are now trying to work with 2 of them. And so I let it go. Well, fast forward, and it's always been a little pissing match between me and David Earl Worden. And I knew he was a fucking liar. And fast forward to, this was about a year and a half ago, or a year and a couple of months. I'm dyslexic, so time is off. But actually, it was longer than that. There was a trial down in Galveston. And it was with Bunny Boots, or whatever his name is, the black guy from California. Some cops entered their car to find out who they were after they were arrested. There was a trial down in Galveston. And CJ, once again, said, we need men to go to this trial. And since I was unemployed at the time, I said, sure, I've got nothing to do. Me and 2 friends went to this trial. And even if the state is 100% in the wrong, what they do is character assassination on the trial bench. So who you're affiliated with, all of a sudden, it wasn't about the trial, it was about who David Earl Worden is. And there was a female sheriff's deputy that was quite friendly with the friend that I was with. And she sat down between me and my friend. And my other friend was on the other side. I'm not going to mention their names because they want to stay out of this little fight. And she says, do you know who that man is? And I said, yeah, David Earl Worden. He said, no, Earl David Worden. I said, okay, whatever his name is. Because we're still trying to figure out if it was the right guy and all this stupid shit, right? With his fucking name. And she says, no, he's a registered sex offender. I was like, yeah, I know that. She told us like 10, 12 different things that were going to come out in a trial, and sure enough, it was. David Earl Worden, although he's been to jail multiple times for being a felon, never registered as a sex offender. He's literally on the stand, and the not the prosecuting attorney, but the other one, started asking why he never registered as a sex offender. You know, where his address is, where does he actually work? So it was a character assassination on David Earl Worden. It wasn't about no longer the cop being on trial. But at that trial, not the state prosecutor, but the lawyers there defending Bunny Boots and David Earl Worden said, you told me this was the only video of the incident. And the leading attorney goes, yeah, this was the only video. And the prosecutor came over and said, no, we have the hard drives of both of your computers, and here is the actual video of the incident. So while he's on the witness stand, or after the break, they're all sitting there huddled up in front of the court saying, wait a minute, y'all, Bunny Boots and David Earl Worden, doctored the video of the incident. And after they came back from recess for lunch, the prosecutor never brought up any witnesses, never did anything. Sure enough, the cop was found not guilty, and all the other cases were dismissed. Now, I can't get a transcript of the trial because it's sealed now because an officer was involved, and only people, and you can't record in a courtroom. But it was just a character assassination of David Earl Worden, and he wants to make this that he's this big, powerful man standing up to the government, and everything's a fucking conspiracy. But on the witness stand, you just saw this cowardly fucking man that couldn't answer a straight question, that had 10 different stories for everything, that tried to flip it. Even on that video of him talking to the cops, that's exactly who he is. Oh, y'all don't know the real story. This is the real story. You got to believe me. I'm fucking smarter than all you. And he tried to do that shit on the witness stand, but was eviscerated with everything that he said. Fast forward. The shit here in Houston with Joe Gavaldi, I think he's the police chief union. There was a rally there, right? And there was some local politician that was trying to get elected that was there at the rally. He bought us all tacos. Nice guy, had nothing to do with anything. So I pick up all the trash because I don't like to litter, and the courthouse was right there behind us. So I went to throw the trash away. All of a sudden this SUV, the blacked out SUVs that they use for surveillance, pulls up, and the window gets rolled down. Mr. Walker, can we talk to you for a little bit? So I pull out my phone. I got my ID ready, thinking this is just going to be another shakedown for open carry. And it wasn't. It was, let me change this. It was basically, the cops were like, we know who that guy is. Do you know who that guy is? And I'm like, yeah, it's David Earl Worden. He's not with us. He just fucking showed up. I said, I've got it on video of asking him who, because he wore a baklava over his face and a hat. The sumbitch is as tall as I am, if not taller. And you know instantly who he is because his voice and his fucking eyes, you can tell instantly who the guy is. And I got him on video. Hey, this is David Earl Worden with News Now Houston. What's the other one? News Now something. He's got 2 channels now. I can never remember the name of the other one because his first one was demonetized. But back to the cops. There's 6 cops in this fucking SUV armed to the teeth. And they got cameras everywhere trying to figure out what this guy is and who he's affiliated with. And they're like, does he have any friends here? And I said, no, I don't know why he fucking showed up here. But he knew I was going to be there, and he knew he could make a video out of it and doctor it to make it look bad until other people started posting their videos. And now David Earl Worden wants their videos taken down, and he's going after my channel having shit removed. But back to the cop. The cop's like, well, there's a warrant out for his arrest, and we need to take him down. I said, I've already tried to tell the other officer that. And they said, what do you mean? I said, there was an undercover officer over here a couple of minutes ago, and I said, David Earl Worden's over there with the 357 in the small of his back talking about shooting cops and fucking going after the system and shit. It made everybody there uncomfortable. And he's like, you mean to tell me that Worden has a pistol on him right now? I said, yeah, he produced a 3-inch barrel 357. I think it's a Ruger from the small of his back, opened the cylinder, popped out the bullet, showed it to us, put the gun back in his belt. The undercover officer followed him back to his car and put the gun up. And then David Earl Worden comes back out because he loves doctoring his videos like he's got guns on him and then he doesn't have guns on him so that the cops can't ask him shit. He's always walking back and forth to his fucking car. So the cop says, well, we have a warrant for his arrest. We're not sure what to do. And I said, easy. You give me the word and me and my guys will put him on the ground and take him down peacefully, as little as resistance as possible, and hand him over to you. And they said, you would do that? And I said, yes. Do I need to be deputized or some shit? And they're like, no, we don't want to make a scene while he's videotaping, and we don't know how many people here at this rally support him. And I said, nobody supports him. Everybody's wanting to fucking make him leave. People were fucking hiding their kids from him and shit and walking across the road, and sure shit, David walked right in the middle of the group. So we knew then he was going to get arrested. I then called CJ back, and I think I talked to the other guy too. I'm leaving his name out of it. I said, there's an active warrant for his arrest out. Well, and they didn't want to take him down in Houston for some reason. Once they knew he had a fucking gun on him. Multiple time felon. I mean, I think it's now up to 4 or 5 felonies. Who gives a shit, right? Oh, but his history, we have to forgive his history because those were all mistakes and you don't understand. It was all set up and all this shit. The first time he was arrested, the second time he was arrested, David Earl Worden loves to drag the trial out so that he pleads guilty to the lesser things so his jacket and TDCJ doesn't come back as a pedophile. It comes back to car theft or with a gun or some shit like that. Because David Earl Worden lies about who he is. Multiple times. There was, on the witness stand, we found out one of his arrests, he was a barkeep at one time. There were 2 people roughhousing in the back, playing pool, kissing and hugging. David didn't like the way the young girl was being treated, his side of the story. So he pulled the owner of the bar's firearm on them and hold them at gunpoint until the cops show up. The cops show up and the girl was like, no, we're just fucking messing around and hugging and kissing and playing around, playing pool, shooting pool. And all of a sudden there's a mad guy with a gun in her face. David Earl Worden admits to lying to the police officers on the witness stand because he knew he was a felon and wasn't supposed to have a gun. And what happens? He got arrested for having a gun inside a bar while he was a felon holding people at gunpoint. And he admitted to this on the fucking witness stand. So fast forward all that shit. Everything was supposed to be a big misunderstanding. OCT was laughing at me and my friends because of all this shit, right? David Earl Worden pops up on the news. He's arrested again for another sex offense. An old sex offense. And what does OCT do? They have a private meeting with the 3 people in charge of OCT and say, we have to shut this down and stop talking about it because this could hurt our organization. And I blew up. I'm like, no, we have to hide now so that we can't be affiliated with David Earl Worden? Bullshit. So I said, you go live and tell the truth, or I'll fucking go live and tell the truth. And sure shit I did. Burned OCT over all that shit. Some of my friends even got pissed off about that, but they're coming around because what happens? David Earl Worden still fucking does shit with OCT, throws OCT's name out there. And no, the latest one was News Now Patrick. David Earl Worden never said that, but it's his videos. But it's also not his videos because just like the forged state documents that he's taking T-close classes, it's all his son now. His son's putting this shit out on the video, so he doesn't have power to edit it. He's hiding behind his son like a fucking little coward. Because his main channel was demonetized because all the rape victims and shit were saying, oh, he's just using this as a platform to pick a fight. So where does he want to hold a fucking rally? He wants to hold a rally again where he was caught having sex with a 17-year-old at the time while he was, I think, 38. And he actually lied to the cops about who he was, how old he was, and had a fucking gun in the back of his trunk. So he's wanting to return back to the scene of the crime to have a big fuck you to the police that we could show up with a private army and do anything we fucking want to. But he doctors his videos. People have proven he's doctors his videos. He likes to travel around with a little group where everybody's recording, and when he edits the videos, he'll do a voiceover on the videos that's not his and form them all together to make them look like it's one original video. Then when he gets caught, he takes the videos down. So then what does he do? He goes to everybody that has proof, does character assassination on them, and all those little fucking minions believe this bullshit, and then he goes to YouTube and tries to have the YouTube shit taken down. But what David Earl Worden doesn't fucking know is I recorded all my phone calls then, and I played back to the guy at YouTube. This is David Earl Worden saying I have full permission to share this fucking video, and here's his audio, here's his phone number if you would like to call him, and they put the video back up. Why? Because David Earl Worden says, this video will show my fucking innocence, share it. And what happens? Everybody looks at it like it's a fucking joke, not to mention they're wondering about all these police agencies that have all these fucking rape kits that were never formed to see if he matches the DNA. Why is this important? Because the Houston trial, he never registered as a sex offender, so he never had his DNA taken. Now he had to go down, register as a sex offender, and do all this shit with the state, and they upped his awareness level to lifetime membership of the fucking pedophile site because of all this shit. But yet, here's these good, honorable men hiding behind David Earl Worden, and now he wants to use the Second Amendment groups to build his fucking army to take on the cops so that he can make a little video. And this is why it's important. We all know some constitutionalists that don't have license. But when David Earl Worden's there and gets us all in a fucking bind, what's going to stop the cops from lining us all up against the wall and saying who has a gun to carry and who doesn't? Because he likes doing this shit with the little fucking toy guns and everything. But he'll show you a fucking loaded .357 and then run back to his car and throw it in his car while there's a fucking undercover cop watching him. But he's like the Teflon God. What is it, Gotti or whatever? Nothing ever seems to affect this man because he's always got a story and always got this little video that proves his innocence. And he's always going to tell you the truth, but he never fucking does. But yet we're all fighting amongst ourselves over this stupidity shit about what his actual name is, what's the true story. It's not what the true story is, it's what have you been caught multiple times doing. Why can't he carry a gun? Why is he hiding behind his son all of a sudden? You know, it's like nothing makes sense. And you can't audit the auditors. He's a fucking auditor. He'll spend 3 days outside a fucking police station to get a 2-minute video to say, look, the cops are fucking with me. Not that you spent 3 days out in the fucking center of this police station. Not that you go walking down the street shining flashlights into people's cars and shit at 11 o'clock at night, or walking through construction sites, or laying down beside cars and doing all kinds of goofy shit just to get the police involved and have multiple calls out there. It's not like he's just trying to live his life and all of a sudden the cop comes up. No, he's going out and picking fights. And as much as I hate the cops, yeah, go pick your fucking fights. But it's amazing how his supporters, we're all sitting there trying to argue over about what his fucking name is. Oh, okay, which felony was in his past? And I had a guy actually tell me that it doesn't matter that he's a registered sex offender because he does good work. Could you imagine that? It doesn't matter that he's a registered sex offender because he does good work. And these are honorable men that hate pedophiles, and yet he makes a couple of good videos and he's instantly forgiven about his past, and we're not supposed to bring it up, and we're all supposed to hide. Why does he have such sway over powerful men that believe this bullshit? Gee, I wonder why he's going after my YouTube channel. Oh, we're trying to assassinate him and shit. I wasn't at the fucking rally. I left. The moment I leave, guess who shows up? David Earl Worden. I've been there I slept in that bar parking lot. But the moment I leave, all of a sudden he shows up. Big fucking coincidence, right? And who do they go after? They don't go after David Earl Worden. They go after the man trying to point out to everybody who David Earl Worden is. But I find it very, very big coincidence that this all happened after I left. It wasn't the 2 days basically that I was there. It was the moment I leave, all of a sudden David Worden shows up. And who's his best friend in all the videos? Who's going to go out there and take on the bad guy? Another member of Open Carry Texas. Yet coming to his fucking rescue. I don't know how the latest trial is. That's just it. We're at the George Floyd rally. And the little guy I was with, the friend I was with, I said, would you fucking believe that? And he's like, what? I said, there's David Earl Worden walking across the street. It's a sea of black people. And yet here's this tall white guy trying his best to run across the street to meet up with his friends. So I walk over there. I'm literally on this side of the street. I walk over to him and I said, hey, David Earl Worden, how's your fucking trial going? And he got that video taken down due to privacy things because of the court dates. I wasn't supposed to ask him about his court date. It's like everything he touches turns to shit. The only story we're supposed to believe is his, and nothing ever comes out. Nothing ever comes of it. But yet he will spend 3 days doctoring a fucking 5-minute video and people defend his ass. I don't get it. But yet OCT and all these gun rights groups are going to go down there on News Now Patrick's word for David Earl Worden's rally down in LaPorte where he raped a girl, or whatever you want to call it, statutory raped, and lied to the cops and had yet another gun in his trunk, and say fuck you to the cops because now I've got an army of people behind me so he can stand up there and gloat. What does that do for the victims of his crimes? Wait a minute, here's a guy that's supposed to be the biggest villain ever, and he's got a fucking army of people that worship him and defend him and uphold his fucking honorable name as a man. You don't think that's a bit odd? The one fucking guy lying to everybody, and his word is supposed to be taken as gospel truth. And if you ever show that he lied, your videos are taken down. And it's you that's a character assassination. Why can't he carry a gun? Why is he hiding behind his son's name now? Why is it nothing he does now? It's all his son doing this shit on a secondary channel. I don't know. He's connected. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a great point. Oh, my God. Even CJ believed that. Oh, my God. He's this biggest undercover guy. The reason why he went AWOL twice in the army is because he was down hunting Nazis in South America. How many fucking Nazis are there left in South America? Oh, but he was on loan to a federal agency once he was convicted of a sex crime and being a felon. What makes him so fucking valuable? But people believe that shit. Even though you can show state documents and federal documents of him being in jail while he was hunting Nazis down in South America, that's great. Oh, I wasn't in CDCJ this whole time. I was down there hunting Hitler in South America. And people believe that shit. That he's a cop. That he's some sort of federal agent. That, not only to mention the security thing, we went to the guy's business, the place of business, and asked him about this shit. He had over 200 people call him, but nobody ever showed up to his business to ask him about this shit. He never had David Earl Worden, never had his son come over to take any of the classes. But yet I'm forging state documents, but the only person we can actually prove that forged a state document is David Earl Worden, and he's hiding behind his son's name. But he's some sort of big... If he's a federal agent, why can't he carry a real gun? It's either a giant fucking conspiracy or the man's a total fucking farce. And from what I gather, I knew after a 4-minute fucking phone call with him that he was a giant farce. My father was a salesman. I know a good line of bullshit when I hear it. His line wasn't even a good line of bullshit. He informs on the police real good. Oh yeah, oh, he will fucking sell out anybody so that he can get people riled up so that he can make a YouTube video about it. I watched an interview, he said to the police. Oh yeah, oh, and people fucking, my guys, if I informed on anybody, I've never burned anybody and said their names. If I burned one fucking person, they would crucify my ass. That's how you wake up dead in a ditch with 3 bullets in the back of your fucking head. But yet he can inform on everybody and fucking spill the beans. Who in their right mind goes to an interview with fucking law enforcement officers without a lawyer present? The first thing that everybody tells you and defense attorneys tell you, keep your fucking mouth shut and don't talk to cops. But yet he's so fucking intelligent, he can talk to cops and he'll tell you the truth. It's fucking amazing. But yet, here it is, we're supposed to get involved with this man and worship him and follow him around like little puppy dogs. And yet, he admits that he will fucking burn anybody. To fucking law enforcement. As being a fucking paid informant. Who believes this shit? But yet, we're all sitting here arguing amongst ourselves. What his actual name is. And yet I'm some sort of guy that really supports David Earl Worden. And all this is just a centrifuge disguisement for his Nazi hunting, killing, and all that other shit. And the main thing is, people fucking believe this bullshit. They will take the word of a fucking pedophile in multiple felonies and car thefts and God only knows what else, because I've only gotten paperwork on 4 or 5 of them. And they will believe his word, even though that once we all get together and start talking, the stories we're all getting don't match up. And I learned this great lesson. A narcissistic asshole will tell one person one story and another person another story because they never assume that one day we'll get together and compare stories. And once you start getting together and compare stories, it's like, I can't believe people fell for this shit. And most of the people that are fighting against him now, at one time, were best friends with him. Or accomplices in the fight against whatever the fuck he wants to say it. And that's another thing. I truly believe once you've served your time and you're out on parole and you did your parole and a member of society again, you should have constitutional rights. And I told David Earl Worden, why don't we have a rally of ex-felons fighting for the rights again? You know, I would support that. If you came out and told the truth, and I didn't know about the pedophile shit at the time, if you came out and told the truth or held a rally in Houston or Austin fighting for felons to get their rights back once they've served their time and got off of probation, then let's hold that fucking rally. Oh, we can't do that. One of the terms of his condition of parole was if he's ever within 500 feet of a school or a firearm, he's supposed to notify law enforcement. That was said on the witness stand from his own fucking mouth. But he'll fucking burn anybody. He'll run to the cops and tell the cops everything he fucking knows because he's the most intelligent man ever. But yet we're supposed to believe this shit. He used to drill holes. Oh yeah, I mean, the guy's a fucking nut job. It's amazing. But all these good, honorable men that are supposed to fight against for women's rights and stand up, and these men have families and kids. And yet they say, well, you're wrong because David Earl Warden's a good guy that produces videos. Even though his videos are doctored, and if you tell the truth, he'll come after you. But I didn't know. I got 15 people watching. But that's just it. I mean, everything about this man is a total fucking farce. And yet, oh, well now OCT is or isn't going to be at the rally because News Now Patrick. David Earl Worden and never actually said it. He never corrected News Now Patrick on his video. And on top of that, he's now saying he never made the video because his son produced it and put it on his channel. And we're supposed to believe that. And people are at each other's throats trying to find out what this man's real name is. My name's Joseph Robert Walker, always has been. The only reason I've ever changed my name on Facebook is because I had to create a new Facebook file. But go to 20 people that know me, they'll tell you my fucking name. But yet, I'm the liar that forges state documents and doesn't tell the truth. But multiple people have actually produced a video showing this motherfucker lying and forging state documents. But his word's still supposed to be taken. And OCT sits back and says, we want nothing to do with this man. He's not affiliated with us. And then fucking show a video of them riding in a car together after his arrest. I don't get it. I honest to God, don't get it. And if these are honorable men, I'm ashamed to call myself one. I truly am. Yes, I've been to jail. What did I go to jail for? Fighting for constitutional rights carry. I was carrying a plastic gun at the fucking Capitol. I admit the gun was fake. I never gave them my word, or never gave them my identity, and I never fucking ratted anybody out. Went to jail, did my time, 36 hours in isolation and suicide watch and all this shit. I spent 36 hours in the jail before I was ever allowed to make a phone call because they knew I'd get out. They knew the moment I talked to somebody, I'd fucking get out. But yet the thousands of questions they asked me and I never answered one. You know, the only question I ever answered in jail, they said, are you allergic to anything? And I said, yes, red dye. They cleaned my cell with the 409 instead of that pink shit. They gave me a uniform that didn't have red dye in it after they called the manufacturer. The sheriff's department that runs the jail knew DPS was a fucking joke, knew I was a political prisoner, gave me great leniency. No problem whatsoever with the sheriff's department. They're just doing their job. But the moment they knew I got a phone call, I'd get out, and sure as shit I did. I had my ass checked so that I didn't smuggle a Kenny bar back into prison. How fucking petty is that? I'm a political prisoner, and I'm going to get more time in jail for trying to. I had to spread my ass cheeks for a fucking sheriff's deputy to realize I wasn't smuggling anything back into jail after talking to my lawyer. Show me where I lied once. Show me where I ever misled anybody. Show me video proof that I ever doctored one of my videos. Show where I lied. Show where I did drugs. Show where I got a DWI. Everybody knows I have a medical condition. I've been tested for drugs how many times now? This month alone? Show me where I forged state documents. I actually talked to a guy the other day. He says, nothing you're saying could be true. So I sent him the original documents from the state of Texas. This was a lifelong member, or not a member, but a supporter of David Earl Worden. And yet he didn't understand or see any of this information until I showed it to him. He went from, I'm a fucking liar and I'm going to hunt you down, to, oh my God, I can't believe this shit is real. That tells you something. I don't know if I have anything else to say that I haven't already said. You can go back and watch my original videos if they're still up. I wonder how long this video will be up before David Earl Worden has it shut down. Love y'all. Have a good day. Don't believe the bullshit.